Every EV charging standard is the same three-way bet between speed, compatibility, and control, and none of them wins all three. So let's break down every charging standard ever made, what each one actually trades away, and where this is really heading. Start with the plug you'll actually use most, even though it makes the fewest headlines. Alternating current charging is the baseline that every electric car on the road supports. Level 1 is nothing more than a standard wall outlet, 120 volts in North America, delivering somewhere between 1 and 2 kilowatts. It adds only a few miles of range per hour, which is why it's treated as an overnight trickle rather than a real charge. Level 2 steps up to 240 volts and does the actual work of home and public AC charging, topping out around 19 kilowatts in North America and 22 in Europe, though most home units you'll buy land between 7 and 11. The connector depends on where you live. North America and Japan use the J1772, the 5-pin plug most people call the Type 1. Europe and Australia use the Type 2, or Menicus, which carries 3-phase power and can reach 43 kilowatts. The trade-off here is pure speed. AC charging is slow because your car's onboard converter caps it, but it is the one thing every standard agrees on. That same 5-pin layout also carries the pilot signal, a simple safety handshake between car and outlet that has barely changed since the design was finalized in the 1990s. Every EV takes it, natively or through an adapter. To go genuinely faster, you need direct current. This is the tier people loosely call Level 3, though the industry doesn't officially use that label, and it's where the combined charging system earns its name. CCS took the existing AC connector and bolted 2 large DC pins beneath it, so a single inlet handles both slow AC and rapid DC charging. It comes in 2 flavors: CCS1, built on the J1772 for North America, and CCS2, built on the Type 2 for Europe. The protocol scales from under 4 kilowatts all the way to 500, though most stations you'll meet deliver up to 350. Europe committed early. Since November 2017, EU rules have required new high-power DC chargers to include a CCS2 connector, which is why the standard blankets the continent. In North America, it powers the big highway networks like Electrify America and EVgo. The trade-off is bulk and compromise. Stacking DC pins under an AC plug makes for a large, heavy connector designed by committee rather than around a single network. But that same openness is its strength. CCS gives you the widest fast-charging footprint on the planet, and for most non-Tesla drivers it has been the default for years. Before CCS existed, though, Japan got there first. CHAdeMO was developed by Nissan, Mitsubishi, Toyota, and the utility company TEPCO, and it was one of the very first mass-market DC fast-charging standards in the world, and for a while, it was the one you were most likely to find on a road trip. The name is a pun on a Japanese phrase about having a cup of tea, roughly the time it takes to charge. It used a separate, DC-only connector, kept completely apart from the AC plug, and it pioneered something the others took years to match: bidirectional charging, letting a car push power back into the grid, or a home, long before anyone else offered it. Most CHAdeMO hardware in the field runs between 50 and 100 kilowatts, though the later specification reaches 400. And here is the cautionary tale of this entire topic. Every major Western network stopped installing it. Electrify America ended new installations back in 2022, and in North America, the standard now survives on essentially one car, the Nissan Leaf, whose owners increasingly have to plan routes around a shrinking pool of chargers. The trade-off was betting everything on a standalone plug and an early lead, then watching the industry standardize around almost everything except that bet. But there's a second layer to every one of these standards that never shows up in a plug diagram. Both the combined charging system and the North American charging standard lean on a communication protocol called ISO 15118, which handles something called plug and charge. Connect the cable, and the car and the station authenticate each other and start billing automatically. No app, no card. It's convenient, but it's also a target. Security researchers have demonstrated a real-world wireless man-in-the-middle attack against that exact handshake, intercepting the negotiation between a car and a charging station without either side noticing it happened. The lesson is blunt. A connector is a shape you can see. A protocol is the handshake you can't. And increasingly, that's the layer actually deciding who's in control. Which brings us to the standard that's actually taking over, And the reason it won is not the one most people assume. The North American charging standard began life as Tesla's proprietary connector, a slim plug barely a third the size of CCS that pushes both AC and DC through the same 3 pins. Tesla opened it up in 2022 and submitted it for standardization as SAJ 3400 in 2023. Then the dominoes fell fast. Ford committed in May 2023, General Motors followed within weeks, and by 2025 and 2026, nearly every major brand, from Hyundai and Kia to BMW, Rivian and Volvo, was shipping cars with a native NACS port. But NACS didn't win on charging speed. Its superchargers top out around 250 kilowatts, no faster than a strong CCS station. It won on control, on reliability, and on sheer coverage. Tesla owns the largest and most reliable fast-charging network on the continent, with well over 50,000 stalls, and adopting the plug was simply the price of entry. Legacy CCS owners aren't stranded, though. Federal rules under the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program still require every publicly funded fast charger to include a CCS connector. And Tesla itself sells a $230 adapter that lets its own cars fast charge at any CCS station at full speed. The reverse trip is messier. Most older CCS vehicles can only reach a supercharger through a slower, AC-only adapter, not the fast DC pins. That's the real lesson. The connector was only ever a proxy for the network sitting behind it. If NACS shows what control looks like for one company, GB.T shows what it looks like for an entire country. GBT is China's mandatory national standard, and China is not a small corner of this story. It runs the world's largest charging network, with more than 3 million public points, and accounts for well over half of every electric vehicle sold on Earth. Like CHAdeMO, it uses separate connectors for AC and DC instead of combining them, and it speaks its own communication language built on the CAN bus. Its AC side handles up to around 28 kilowatts, and its DC side up to roughly 238 kilowatts in mainstream use. The trade-off is deliberate isolation. GB.T is not compatible with CCS or NACS without an adapter, and outside China it is almost nowhere to be found. Chinese cars sold abroad simply switch plugs at the border, shipping with CCS2 in Europe and CCS1, or NACS in North America. But inside the biggest EV market in history, that isolation doesn't matter. Control of your own standard means control of your own industry, and China wrote its rules to answer to no one else's plug. So where is all of this really heading? Toward power levels a passenger car plug was never built to carry. Electric trucks and buses can't sit for an hour at a normal charger, so the industry is building the Megawatt Charging System, or MCS, developed by the same group behind CCS. It's rated for up to 3.75 megawatts, 3,000 amps at over 1,000 volts, roughly 10 times the fastest car charger available today, and it became a formal international standard in early 2026. The same connector is already being eyed for ships and aircraft. China is pushing its own answer in parallel, Chaoji, a next-generation connector with a distinctive infinity shape, co-developed with the CHAdeMO Association, designed for up to 1.2 megawatts, and built to stay backward compatible with existing GBT hardware. Both are the same bet as everything before them, just scaled up, chasing raw speed for vehicles that treat range as a business cost rather than a personal worry. The plug shapes will keep changing. The three-way fight between speed, compatibility, and control never does. Now you can read the map instead of just the plug. Subscribe for the next breakdown.